Hey y'all, welcome back to Adventuring with Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. In this video, I am going to talk about solo van life versus traveling and camping with a partner. I have been getting this question a lot, the benefits of both scenarios, and I am well acquainted with both scenarios. I started van life in June of 2020, so we're coming up on 3 years now, and for the first over 2 years, I did van life completely solo. I traveled around the country 3 times with Wynston by myself, visiting family and friends along the way, but just completely solo. And then for the last 7 months or so, I've been traveling with Maddie Van Halen on YouTube. We are very dear travel companions, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's way different than being solo. So to start, I have no problem being solo. I love solitude. I enjoy not having to stress about anybody else, just worry about myself and Wynston. And it took me a long time to find somebody that I was comfortable enough with to travel and camp with on a consistent basis. Safety is a really big concern of mine, especially because Wynston was attacked a few years ago, so I'm very apprehensive about camping around people if they have dogs, especially big dogs. So I'm very specific about who I like to camp around and who I like to camp with for the safety of me and Wynston. Now, I am a very independent woman. I like to do my thing at all times. That's just how I am. I've always been like that. I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy solo camping. But with Maddie, we just have a really comfortable relationship. We connected right away. And we have the sort of van life partnership where, like, he does his thing, I do my thing, and then, like, you know, we'll hang out and play darts for an hour, and then we'll go do our own thing. And, you know, we'll have our morning coffee, we'll have a beer in the evening, but there's no stress. And that's the most important thing. Like, neither of us feel obligated to hang out with the other, right? Like, we have a great understanding, and it was like that from the very beginning. And that's why it's been so easy to travel and camp with him for 7 months, because we just have such a low stress partnership when we're hanging out and are traveling, and we're both very easygoing. So when we're driving somewhere together, neither of us is like, we have to get there at this time, we have to do these things, we have to do this, blah, 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 blah. We're just like, okay, let's do this, let's stop here, oh, I'm ready to do this, or let's go to this place, like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, we're both just very easygoing. So sometimes when you're trying to find a partner to travel with, whether they're male or female, that's something to look for. It's like finding somebody who has your similar travel and camping style. So while I was solo for so long because I thought I just didn't want to worry about anybody else, I found somebody to travel and camp with who was so similar to me. So it just makes it easy. It makes it stress-free. So that's really, really nice. Like, I didn't really know if I'd ever find that, but it's been wonderful. So what's nice about, I did a lot more traveling when I was solo. And part of that reason is because I would get bored. Like, I would get bored in one place. So I'd stay there for 3 or 4 days and then I'd move on. And that was using a lot of gas, right? So now that I camp with Maddie, I can stay somewhere for 2 weeks at a time. I don't get bored because I have somebody with me. Another benefit of having a travel buddy is you look out for each other, right? Of course, there's safety in numbers, but if he has to go into town, I look over the campsite. If I have to go into town, he looks over the campsite. Sometimes we go into town together, so one of us leaves our van at camp to make it look like there's somebody there, and then we can save on gas because we get our errands done together. And of course, Wynston. I have another set of eyes on Wynston, and if it gets too hot or a situation's uncomfortable, You know, Maddie can stay in the van with Wynston in the air conditioning while I go in somewhere to do my stuff. So there are lots of benefits if you have a dog or a pet to having a travel buddy. I don't really honestly know with my situation right now if there would be any benefit of going back to being solo, because the last 7 months having somebody to do van life with has been so wonderful. And whether it's like a friend or a family member or a significant other, it's really nice to have that companionship, you know, to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, especially because Maddie and I are both YouTubers. So we have a lot in common to talk about, and we have, you know, content to discuss, and he does the tinkering, I do the cleaning and organizing, so we both really bring something to the table. And I have in the past traveled with other women who were much older than me. Honestly, very rarely I've traveled with women who are around my age. It's just not very common, I found. But there have been women that I've met up with, you know, like in Utah and around Arizona, and, you know, we've stayed together for weeks at a time. We all had small dogs, so that was really fun. And it really just brings a whole new dynamic to van life. And I like doing that sort of thing too. But again, my circle is really small of trusted people because I am concerned about Winston's safety first and my comfort. I want to keep the peace. I don't want to be around people who are going to cause me anxiety. So I have very few people that I've met up with. I do know that most of the people that I've traveled and camped with, that I've met up with, I've even met up with people like in other states, like I said, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. They all tend to be quite a bit older than me, but that's just how it goes. And I don't know, I just really vibe with people who are older than me, and they kind of look after me too, which is nice. Like, you kind of have that feeling that they're always looking after me, so that's really cool. I saw, like, when I was most recently near Flagstaff, I saw my friend Don, and he's 71, and he and I have kind of met up different places here and there, and again, it's just like a good, comfortable relationship, no stress, just chilling. So most of the people that I've traveled and camped with for extended periods of time happen to be men. I feel like I meet more men than women out on the road. I don't know if that's a common theme or if that's just how it goes, but I've noticed from my camping that women tend to be like in groups and men tend to be solo, and I've always been solo. So since I'm solo, I happen to meet up with other people that are solo. It's just, I don't know, that's just been the pattern. But so the pros of being solo are really just worrying about yourself, being on your own schedule, you know, not having to take into consideration somebody else's needs or schedule. But there are so many more benefits, I think, to having a travel companion that you vibe with. It took me, again, 2.5 years to find somebody that I was even comfortable doing van life with, but I wasn't looking either. Like, Maddie and I had known each other on YouTube for a couple of years before we met in person, and we just connected and we vibed, so now we do van life together, and we meet other people, we meet up with other friends and stuff like that along the way, which is really fun as well. So when it comes to Wynston, the benefits of traveling with somebody else, I mean, there are so many. There's just so many. And again, safety in numbers, being able to enjoy the surroundings and the lifestyle with somebody else. And again, that somebody else can be anybody. Lady friends, siblings, a parent. You know, I love having like my mom come up and hang out with me. I even know a lot of couples, like romantic couples, that travel and camp together, but they're in separate rigs, which is a really cool thing as well. So I would say that I loved traveling the country solo. I don't know if I could travel the country with somebody else, because there might be a day where you decide you're really exhausted and you need a break, but that other person's like, no, I'm ready to go, 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 go. But when it comes to just kind of staying local, like, I'm staying in Arizona this year. Maddie is for the most part too. So we're just, Tucson, Flagstaff, Payson, wherever we're at. It's very low stress travel that we can do in a couple of hours. So there's really none of that massive stress. Yeah. So I think I'm going to wrap it up because I feel like I've been kind of rambling for about 11 minutes. But I hope that answers some questions. I think solo travel and van life travel with somebody else are both very great. But if you do travel and camp and decide to do that with somebody, just make sure it's somebody that you're comfortable with and that fits your lifestyle equally, because it will be so much better, low stress, and peaceful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time.